The Ryan Ries Show from Southern California. This is The Ryan Ries Show. Post your questions using @Ryan Ries on his Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Are you ready?
What's up, family? It's going down tonight. I got one of my good friends in studio. You guys may know him from the band of Mice and Men. His name is Austin Carlisle. What's up, Austin? How you doing, sir?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Well, look, dude, you're here in town for, you're coming to the end of your trip. You've been here for a couple of weeks, and just decided to tell your story for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in the jungle, man, in Costa Rica for about 8 months, and I really want to just have the opportunity to let people hear my story and let people know kind of what's going on in my life and where I am right now and where I've been, where I was, and where I want to be.
We've been friends for a while now, and just been watching your Instagram, everything that's been going on. It shows like you're on tour, and then you're in the hospital, and then you're on tour again in the hospital, and then all of a sudden you're in Costa Rica, and there's so many details. And that's what we want to use tomorrow night to kind of go through that story. But it's rad that tonight we're going to use this opportunity to actually talk to some of the people that are following you online, your fans and friends.
The blood.
Yes.
The lifeline. My lifeline.
Yes.
These guys.
A lot of radical things have been happening, but just tell everyone what's been going on down in Costa Rica, because you're in this beautiful place riding scooters.
I hear Costa Rica is amazing.
I have a real motorcycle.
Oh, is that a
Thank you very
motorcycle?
much. It's only a 125 because my dad didn't trust me with anything. It's funny because the first couple of weeks I had it, I wrecked it. So no more motorcycle for me. But I'm in the jungle. My dad has a small church there. It's about 100 people, 200 people, for the Christmas and Easter crowd.
Yeah.
And there's no walls on the church, and it's in the jungle. We have to pour water on top of the roof just to cool it off. And man, I'm out there healing and taking time to just kind of separate, to kill the noise, because in October, after leaving October leaving, we announced it in December, I think the last day of the year I announced it. I really just wanted to separate myself from everything and just kind of get back to my heart and get back to what I think, God was calling me to do. And man, I've been, we teach baseball every Thursday. We do dodgeball. I'm the referee. I'm a pretty good ref. And it's just a blessing being down there, man. I get to spend the first few hours of my day in the water, and it's such a blessing.
You're doing a lot of rehabilitation too, as well, from the surgeries that you had.
Yeah, I in October I was in the hospital all month. On our last tour when we had to cancel, I found out that every time I would scream, I had 4 tears in the sac that surrounds my spine. So every time I would push down to scream, my spinal fluid was shooting out into my body, causing me like convulsions and Charlie horses and shaking. And it turns out I was having seizures, and I've been having seizures my entire life. And so that was just part of it, and it grounded me. It really just put a halt to things. And I actually had lunch yesterday with Valentino, our drummer, and we were talking about that last show. And I was in the corner on the ground screaming, wanting to keep going. And I turned around, and he's just gone off the drum set. And he's like, "No, man, like, I'm calling it because I know you won't." And ever since then, it's just been a big healing process. And I was starting to do a lot better in Costa Rica. And then I started this gnarly procedure where they do like literally 20 to 30 injections in my spine and in my hips and in my legs. And they were trying to get everything to flare up to kind of make the cells work harder, which makes sense in theory, but not when I was already in that much pain. And, every 3 weeks I'd go in, get these injections. Every week I'd get an IV treatment. And after about a month and a half of that, I just started going downhill. And it took going to the hospital again in Costa Rica. I got a nice, cool helicopter ride through the jungle to San Jose, Costa Rica. Then when I was there, they found 2 cysts on my spine. So that became this whole thing. They thought it was this, that, cancer, this, whatever. And my specialists at Stanford were like, don't let them cut into you.
Yeah.
And so I flew straight to Stanford, and man, I was there for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, physical therapy, 2 weeks, and then I've been here for 10 days.
So you've been definitely going through it since you left the band, and it's fair to say that you having to walk away from the band was probably one of the hardest decisions in your life.
Oh man,
You know,
yeah. I mean, A Mice and Men was my baby. It was my outlet to use after I left Attack, my second band. And when I found out when I was in the hospital in October, within the first couple of weeks that I had to stop, it was a hard decision to make. Anything like that's a hard decision, and I really just felt God calling me to that was His way of calling me to step away. And afterwards, I sat and I told the band, it was the day I flew to Costa Rica, November 1st, when I got out of the hospital, and I sat with the band and in the apartment, and I literally said, I want you guys to continue on. I want you guys to keep playing the songs, being there for the fans, doing what we do, what we worked on for 8-9 years that we had built. And, I didn't want to, just because my career and my whole life had just been ripped away from me, I couldn't do that to 4 other people, and 4 of my brothers too. Mm-hmm. So it took a lot, but even at lunch yesterday with Tino, my path is so clear to me now. And the band's doing their thing, and they're touring with bands that, maybe we wouldn't have toured with if I was in the band. And you never know how things happen. And my path is different, and that's something that I'm discovering every day. And I have to adhere to that.
Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and take this call because I think this has to do with.
There's a bunch of them.
Number 2, we're gonna take this call because I think this has to do with that path that you're talking about. Alexa from Texas. How you doing, Alexa? What's your question tonight?
Hello.
How you doing? You're on Live with Ryan Ries. We have Austin in studio.
Hi.
Hi, Austin. Oh my God, I've been a fan for ages.
Awesome. Nice to meet you, Alexa.
Nice to meet you too.
Are you watching right now?
No, I'm listening on the radio actually.
Awesome. I'm on the radio.
My question is how did you manage to get through these rough times in your life? Because I went through some of the roughest patches in my life, and your music had honestly saved my life, and it spoke to me in so many ways that I just wanted to know how you got through this rough time.
Yeah, since day one, music has been a big part of my life, and music is a big healer. Music is, it's universal, and it took me having to figure out that music, the reason that I connected with it was because of the emotions that it made me feel. But I had to find a source for where that emotion was coming from and why that emotion was coming. And I found that through my relationship with Christ. And I found that through, even though all these things were happening to me, I felt like God had me on this path for a reason. And I felt like, He was calling me and pulling me to do something different, as hard and as painful and as, as bad people could say as that might seem. But all it was Him saying, this is what I have for you. This is what you want. And those are 2 completely different things. And I just, for the past 2-3 years, through those rough patches, that's what I've held on to. And the bad part about it is for the 10 years before that, I resorted to all the negative things, from drugs to drinking to sex to being a wild boy to whatever it is. Those things just left me more empty than before. And they also got me into a lot more rough patches. So as soon as I started clearing that stuff out of my life, after I began that relationship with Christ, and that's what's the cool thing is when you come to God as you are, and He starts chipping away at that stuff. People always tell me how could God love me? How could I come to God? Why would He ever accept me? I've done this. And it's no, man, God loves you right where you are. And once you come to Him, He starts taking all that stuff and boom, boom.
Well said, sir. Well said. Well, thank you for calling tonight.
Thank you, Alexa.
We're gonna go ahead and move down. Is there anything that you see that you wanna pick up here?
Yeah,
there's so many.
I didn't even realize these are all the questions from man.
Yep, coming in.
I'm gonna go ahead and this is a good one right here. While you look at the other ones, I'm gonna go ahead and grab number 4.
Got it.
Michelle from Orange County, California. How you doing? What is your question tonight for Austin?
Hello, I just want to say, Austin, I'm such a big fan. Thank you for answering my question. What inspires you the most to keep moving forward? Hello?
The
Yes.
opportunity to succeed or fail. You know, I think, when they say suicide ruins your chances of ever making life better. No matter how bad it gets, A, there's always someone that's going through worse, and B, man, it just makes those good days that much better. And from our fans to the people that have supported me from day one, to my family, to my whosoever family, to my, even the stray dogs in Costa Rica, like, they inspire me because I love those things. And, you got to look at those small things in life. And it's hard in today's age that we live. Everything's so fast paced. And, Ryan, you said it the other day, the average 15-year-old gets as much information in a day as 15-year-olds did, 80 years ago.
Together in 1 year.
That's in a year. And that's gnarly to me. Like, my brain, I can't catalog anything. I have to go over it and over it. And, you got to take it second by second, hour by hour, and just remember that all that stuff you're going through, it's for a purpose. And that's what keeps me moving.
You know what? It's interesting, Sean, is, we could get our eyes on social media and all this stuff that's happening around us, all these distractions, all this noise.
Yeah.
And it could you could get so uninspired and go into a depression. You have to stay focused. Like Austin was saying, how he went down to Costa Rica to kill the noise. And that's even our whole high school tour. It's the Kill the Noise tour. Yep. We have to kill the distractions so we could hear from the God above what we're created for and the reason why we're here. And that's what inspires us.
That's what makes you go through these moments of like, your perspective can change from the aspect of like, this is horrible what I'm going through, the suffering, this pain. But when you can have that perspective change of like, okay, but what lesson am I supposed to learn? And as it was from the first caller, is like, God uses our difficulties and trials to encourage other people. They're like, man, Austin's going through a tough time. And for Austin, you've seen other people that have gone through worse times as well. That becomes encouraging to you. God uses our suffering for a purpose. Yeah, I think Peter even said that, like, it may even be God's will, this particular point in my life, for suffering. And are you okay with that?
Lee Oswald Chambers says, your comfort is not God's purpose for your life. And it's funny you talk about how what you're going through inspires people. People see it. My friend Machine Gun Kelly, Mr. Baker, we had In-N-Out today, and he said, man, like, what you're doing and what you're going through, and like, it's inspiring. And like he said, I talked for an hour in Finland with Post Malone about what you're going through and what you're doing. And, I told him, like, that's just me, man. And I'm, like you said, killing the noise, and I'm connected to the God of the entire universe. Yep. And that to me, like, man, there's nothing greater than that.
And that may sound like that's kind of crazy, but the reality is when there's a verse that says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. Jesus says, seeking you will find, knocking the door will be open. All you have to do is you just have to open yourself to God, and you will have an encounter with him, and then you will know he's real. But if you just push away and you're like, it's not real, you'll never know if he's real or not. So open yourself to him and ask him, say, God, if you're real, prove that you're real to me. And you will literally have an encounter with him if you ask him for forgiveness of sins and ask him to come into your life. And he's not looking for perfect people. I mean, this room right here is a bunch of pirates. I mean, he's not looking for people. And then even when you read the Bible, you look at the disciples, they were a motley crew. Jesus didn't roll with like ballers. He was just rolling with the common folks, the blue collar common folks, people.
Those religious people, the people that were in the church, they didn't even roll with Jesus. They didn't like what Jesus was doing. Right. They didn't agree with Jesus. They hated on Jesus. And those are the people that were in the church. And I apply that to now. Man, if you that's why I always talk about, it's so important when people bring up Christian this and this and this and all this. Look what Jesus said, man. We had a song from our first record. Second record. It's called The Great Handowski. And it said, read this book. You were meant to live. It all means so much to me. But note, pay attention. of what's written and read. And in most Bibles, what's written and read is what Jesus talked about, man. And through all that other noise, through all the other stuff in the Bible, it can get confusing. But what Jesus talked about and what he lived, man, like that's my answer to the first three questions that we've got tonight.
It came to hurting people. Jesus came to hurting people in their circumstances and situations and saying, come to me, you'll find rest for your soul. You know, the princes of life are beating you down. Whether it was somebody that was blind, physically enabled, or whether it was somebody that was being tormented by their lifestyle, the Lord was able to set them free. And that's the cool. People are hurt in this world today. Look at our world today. We're in contact with people that are hurting. We're hurting people that have come to know that the healing that can take place with the Lord. So it's an amazing thing. The phone lines are definitely lighting up. And if you're tuning in right now, this is Live with Ryan Ries. We're in studio with Austin Carlisle. If you want to call in, you can call in at 888-564-6173. Again, 888-564-6173.
I'm trying to drop a couple of these lines that we're done with, and they're not dropping. So maybe I can get some tech support over here. I'm going to call Apple tech support.
There's a lot of calls. Hey, and if you're tuning in instead of going or being at Avenged Sevenfold and Metallica, thank you, because I was supposed to be there tonight with my friends, but we sat there and talked like, should we go to Metallica or should we do the radio show? And I was like,
Metallica radio.
Can we play Metallica on the radio? No, we this is important, and this is I'm only here for 2 more days, and
that's right.
This is something that means a lot to me, and I know people that have been with us for a year, 2 years, 8 years. I know they know that, and I know that they understand. I hope they understand how important they are to me, and that's why we're doing this.
And
There's so many questions.
I want to say this: tomorrow night we are going to have a live event with Austin Carlisle, the former lead singer of Mice and Men, to tell his story at Calvary Chapel Diamond Bar in Golden Springs, 22324 Golden Springs Drive, Diamond Bar, California. Come down. It starts at 6 p.m. and it will end, 8. But then, Austin,
it's not going to end at 8.
You were there hanging out with people last Sunday till 4, and the event ended at what time?
We were done by like 1 or 2. I hung out in the church till 4:15, 4:30 with people. And then we went outside, and then we went to Chili's, and we were at Chili's till like 9:30. And man, we had like 60 people come out, and
that's
all the
awesome.
OG you diggers too. Like, we had Darla, we had Ed, we had just the people that have been there from the beginning, man. And it's so cool to, hey, come join me, because I know my friend's going to be speaking at this church, and it's going to be a message that's important to hear right now in the midst of all this stuff. And to have those people that not only are fans to me, but have become friends and family, and people that, I kind of did it to be selfish. Like, I wanted to see them. I wanted to see, my blood. I keep saying that, but that's, I mean it.
That's amazing. And I think it's important to have relationships like that. Man, another thing that takes place in our lives when we go through these things, perspective of like, let's not take our day for granted, right? And let's value the relationships we have in our lives. Like, you don't get these moments back. It's so easy to take things for granted when everything's flowing and, everything is flowing so easily. But it's at these moments where you start thinking, man, I want to take advantage of these opportunities I've been given, right?
Yeah, you're not promised tomorrow.
Yep.
And I was at a funeral today, and one of the guys mentioned that, you got to absorb the day that you're given, and you got to absorb and love on the people that are in your life now, because tomorrow's not guaranteed.
No, it's true. The Bible says life is but a vapor of smoke, here today, gone tomorrow. You just never know. The most amazing thing, though, is people that have faith in Jesus Christ, we know that we're eternal beings and we will live forever. That's why Jesus said, one of my favorite verses where the whole whosoever's movement came from, because it's all of us. Jesus said, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him will not perish, but have everlasting life, live forever. And that word whosoever, that's like all-encompassing. Whoever.
Yep. Everyone. Anyone.
Yep.
Red, yellow, black, white, Muslim, Hindu, it doesn't matter who you are.
Whosoever. And that's all of us together. So we got Alyssa calling in from, what does it say, Clifton, New Jersey?
Yep.
All right, Alyssa, how you doing? You're on Live with Ryan Ries, and we have Austin Carlisle.
Wow.
Carlisle in studio. What is your question tonight? Alyssa.
All right.
Let's
can
see.
do
Let me
number
try it one
3.
more time. Alyssa, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. How you doing? What's your question tonight?
Before my question, I just wanted to thank Austin for being the most amazing person and my role model, and just thank you for everything.
Epic.
Thank you for being you.
I wanted to ask, what makes you have such great faith in everyone and everything, or rather, what keeps you from losing faith?
What keeps me from losing faith?
It's a good question.
I think the biggest thing that keeps me from losing my faith is knowing that no matter what, wherever God leads, I'm going to follow. And if I have God on my side, if the creator of the entire universe is on my side, it says if he's for me, who can be against me? And all of that stuff falls away because I'm on the winning team. And just like we've mentioned, like all the stuff that comes through life, knowing that and holding on to that is that one thing that keeps me from losing it.
I think of Psalm 23. It's so famous. Even if you don't go to church, you don't know the Bible. A lot of people have been in movies. Remember, it was in Pulp Fiction a lot. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will feel no evil, for God is with me. I remember seeing a breakdown of that, and it talks about like when the sheep would actually go down to the still waters or go through the shadows, they would be able to partake of more of the best pasture that there was. And sometimes in our testings, God allows those moments where we're able to experience greater things in our relationship with God through our testings. You get to know more of the character of God through those things. So
Hey, go ahead and give that number out. We got some more calls, but we got some open lines now. So
the number's 888-564-6173. 888-564-6173.
All right. Austin Carlisle in studio, and we have Erica from Tampa calling in. What's your question tonight, Erica?
Hi, Austin.
Hello, Erica.
I've been a fan for over 5 years now, and I recently just became a Christian this year, so I just wanted to thank you.
Amazing.
Yes, I just want to thank you for always, putting it out there and being very open about it in such a secular world that, wants you to be quiet about it, but you decide to speak up. But anyways, my question is, what story in the Bible have you personally related to the most?
I have 3. James,
Okay.
Job, and Paul. Paul, because
Why?
his name used to be Saul, and this dude killed Christians for a living. He had a gnarly experience with God. He did a U-turn, and he became one of the most influential people in the Bible. And he became such a light for Christ. Job, because this dude lost, I think, 10 children, all his belongings. He had physical ailments. This guy had boils from his head to the bottom of his feet, right?
Right.
And I know what it's like to be in physical pain, and I can't imagine having that kind of pain. And this guy, in the whole book of Job, you read as he's going through these things, and, he has low points. He's human. We're all human. And he talks about those low points in his life in the book of Job. But at the end of it, everything that was taken from his life and everything that he did and went through, God brought those things back into his life, and some of it even 20-fold. And that's just a super inspiring story to me because, it goes back to what you said. It's those things that you go through, God's using that to build you into the person that you're supposed to be. And I see it as God's making me a stronger man, a more perseverant man. He's making me, a more patient man, stronger, wiser. He's doing all of these things because he has a purpose for me. And just because I don't know what that is yet, I don't have a job, I don't have a band, I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, the next month. But I know that if I keep persevering and I keep staying with my faith and keeping with what he's done for me, and I keep that right here in my head and I hold that in my heart, there's nothing that I can't do.
I think about that verse, one of my favorite verses, but this is perfect for your scenario and actually for all people that have a relationship with God. All things work together for good for those that love Christ according to his purpose.
Yep.
God obviously has a purpose for this whole thing. He's taking you out of the band, and there could be another band in store, but whatever it is that he has for you, he's working out his eternal purpose in your life and preparing you for this next chapter of your life. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Yeah, and you say all things work out. That doesn't look like what we think.
Mm-hmm.
Just because God says all things work out, he doesn't mean you're not going to have hard times. He puts you into that fire. You know, the gold story, super quick.
Yeah, do it.
When you find gold, it's a little chunk and it has rocks and dirt in it. And it's all nasty. And the gold maker, what is it called? The refiner guy. Yeah. He puts the gold into this molten hot fire, and it burns, and all the impurities rise to the top. He scrapes off the impurities, puts it back into the fire, brings it out, scrapes off the impurities, back into the fire. He repeats this over and over and over until when he pulls that gold out, he knows it's ready when he can see his reflection in it. And that's how I feel God is with us and God is with my life. He's putting me into the fire, getting rid of all those things, chopping out all this stuff until he can see a Christ-like person and a Christ-like man. And that's the ultimate goal for me. And that's a situation that it's going to take me. I'm going to work on that till the day that I die.
For sure. And that's what the Bible says. You guys bring up that Romans 8:28, work all things together for good. The next verse actually is key as well because it says this, what's the purpose? To conform us in the image of his son. That's what he wants to do in our lives. And how that goes about, it's shaving off the side sometimes. It's, breaking in other areas. It's stripping us of things that we find confidence in. And the Bible says that when he humbles us, then he lifts us up in his timing. And so when you have rest and peace in that, man, everything flows. And it's like, hey, this is just a process. The process that God is doing in my life is for a necessity for a greater work. And you can have peace in that. It's amazing.
We just got this cool comment. It says, been following Austin since he was 11.
Since I was 11.
Since
Not me.
I was 11. He is the biggest inspiration. Watching you find yourself with God after all he has lost and gained really inspires me in my walk with God. I wanted to thank him. Ollie from Orange County.
Yo, Ollie, I know we didn't take a call, but thank you for that, man. And that's the reason I keep doing this, and the reason that I have to keep that faith and keep inspired is because you never know who sees, and you never know who's going to take something from your story.
We'll see you guys in 2 minutes right after the break.
More of The Ryan Ries Show coming up. Post your questions at Ryan Ries on his Instagram, Twitter, and or Facebook. Now, back to the Ryan Ries Show.
All right, it's going down. It is going down.
We have Austin Carlisle here, just chopping it up.
All right, here we go. We got a rad question right here. Now I lost it. Where'd it go? Here we go. I think it's this one from Canada.
Yeah, number 3.
Oh, I'm trying to turn it on here. What's going on here? It's saying drop call.
You're good.
No.
Hit it.
That tech support came in.
Hit it.
There we go. Hello, how you doing?
Hi.
What? You're on live with Ryan Ries. We got Austin in studio. What's your question?
Oh my God, sorry. When did you realize you had to leave Of Mice and Men? It wasn't just like a question anymore.
That question was for you, Austin.
First of all, hi, hello, hello from the
Valencia.
other side. Yeah, in Canada.
What?
I'm sorry, I'm crying.
It's okay. It's okay. It's awesome. Literally, the moment I knew when I had to leave the band was within the first few weeks of October. We had to cancel the tour. I went straight from the UK, flew to LA. My dad, which I hope he's listening, watching. Hello, Dad. I love you. I miss you. I'll see you soon. But my dad met me in LA. We flew straight up to Stanford. And, for the past 4, 5, 6, 7 years, my medical team, my cardiologist, and all my my team, they've told me this whole time that I wasn't supposed to be doing this. I wasn't supposed to be up there body banging and head banging and jumping off of balconies and going, every night. And that's just not something that's good for your body when you have a genetic condition that I have. And, and this was the moment, because of being in the band, I had to have hip surgery, rib surgery. I've had over like 14 epidurals. We used to go on tour, and every month or two, I would have to get trigger point injections, which are like 14 shots all through your spine where they inject you with Novocaine and steroids and inflammation stuff. Not like rip steroids, to basically just so I could perform and just so I could keep going. And, it was time. And, it was the hardest part I think about that was knowing that I had to stop and not being able to say anything yet. And that's why I announced it the last day of 2016, because that was a gnarly year, and I wanted to leave it in that year and move on to 2017, where we are.
All right, we're going to go and take this call from New Mexico, line 4. How you doing tonight? You're listening live with Ryan Ries, and we have Austin Carlisle in studio. What is your question tonight?
I wanted to know how he pushed through that on stage, and I wanted to thank him for a lot of stuff that he's helped me with, and thank you for everything that you've done, and I'm shaking. Thank you. Just thank you for everything that you've done, and I wanted to know how you pushed it through on stage.
Well, thank you. Thank you for supporting. It sounds cliche, but what we do would not be possible if it wasn't for the people coming to our shows, buying our records, buying our merch. That's thank you. And the biggest thing that I think helped me push through on stage was just the sheer fact that that's what I loved to do more than anything else in the world. And those songs, especially like Pain, You Make Me Sick, Public Service Announcement, like Second and Sebring. Those songs, they still play now. Those songs are my story. And I didn't ever write a song that was actually written by me and a mice that wasn't real to me, to my core, because, I said, if I have to sing this every night, it's got to be real, because I've got to be able to tap into that emotion. And that's what rock and roll music is, man, it's that raw emotion. And I was at Chester Bennington's funeral today, and the biggest thing that they kept talking about was that emotion that he had and that raw passion for what he did. And that's the same thing that I share. And that's one of the reasons I looked up to him too much, is because it was so real. It was so raw. And every night, man, I would tap back into that, and I would take myself to that place. And, whether there was 5 people in the crowd, 5,000, 15,000, those people paid money to come see me do what I love. I better leave it all out there for them.
That is sick.
Sorry, it's been a rough day.
No, it's all good. We're going to go and take this call from Fremont. They're listening online. Austin's in studio. What do you have to say? What's your question tonight?
Hi. My question is, before I say anything, I just want to thank Austin, and I just want to say I love you, and you're the reason why I stopped self-harming, and I love you so much. God bless you. And my question is, does your relationship with God affect your relationship with all your other friends?
Does your relationship with God change your relationship with others, basically? Yeah. Yes and no. When you go into a relationship with Christ, you really have the opportunity to see who's in your life, to stick with you because they're your brothers or your sisters and they love you and they love you for you. I just got off the phone the other day with my friend Maddie. This guy and I are like oil and water. He doesn't, he's a science guy. I'm the God guy. Mm-hmm. But the more he tells me about science and the more I learn about science, the more it solidifies my faith in Christ. And the more I talk to him about, how did God create the earth in 7 days? Like, that's impossible, bro. Like, the millions of years old, blah, blah, blah. He talks like that too, Matty Curls. And, like just that. How did God create the earth in 7 days? Okay, yeah, that seems gnarly. But guess what? The word day in, I think, Greek, Hebrew, the word day means an extended period of time. So in 7 extended periods of time, the God of the entire universe made it. Like, that's way more plausible. Like, or the Big Bang Theory. Mm. Most scientists believe that the universe started from whoa. Now, if God was there before time and God created it and will be there afterwards, then, and those scientists, they don't believe in God, they don't believe in any of that. Mm-mm. But how does what the scientists say and what God does, how does that line up? Like, to me, that's just, man. Oh, I can't even finish my sentence because that just gives me so much hope to know that the more these people shoot and they search to find the answers to life and, how to live forever, or how to do this and this, and it all comes back to Christ, and it's all in the Bible, and there's nothing new under the sun.
It's proven. It's proven. It's never needed to be adjusted or changed, and still has the ability to change lives from every walk of life. Absolutely. Young, old, doesn't really matter, because in it, as God's word says, that God has magnified his word above his own name, man. It's powerful.
This is a fresh comment right here.
Oh, which one are we looking at?
Number 4, it says, I sent Austin a tweet and prayed to God he would respond. And he called my daughter at 2 a.m. and literally saved her life. I want to thank him. We will be there tomorrow, and my daughter is now out of the hospital. Now my daughter loves Jesus. Chino Hills, Steve. That's epic.
Hey, Steve. Hey, my Melani. It doesn't even say her name on there, but yeah, man. Crazy story. I go to bed at about 9:30, 10 every night. I sleep with this gnarly face mask. I got to put in the face mask. I got to lay down. I'm out for like 9-10 hours. But that night was the night that that night was the night I got an email and I was invited to Chester Bennington's service, his funeral. That was today. And I got the invite and I was like, I'm really kind of nervous, upset about this. I need to get into the Word. I need to read the Bible. I need to study. I need to just absorb. And I started reading through the gospel, and it kept me up for 3 hours, taking notes, reading in the Bible. And I laid down before I put my sleep mask on and was out. I think it was 2:30 in the morning. And I never look at like my DMs or Instagram stuff. Like, it's not something I pay close attention to. And the first thing I opened when I was just like, let's see what's popping on Twitter at 3 a.m. was Steve and his daughter. They came last week, and he just reached out, just saying, Melani's going through something. Can you maybe give her a call? And I'll just say it right now, I don't call people. I have like, I don't know, 100 contacts. Like, you know, that's just not kind of the person I am. But I called her because I felt like God was calling me to call her. And I called Melanie, and I was just laying in bed, and I said, you know, hey. She's like, who is this? I was like, it's Austin. What? And she was in the hospital. You know, she had tried to hurt herself that night. And, you know, God was there with her because even though she attempted something, it didn't happen. And she was there, and I called her, and you know, I talked with her, and I just prayed with her, and I thanked her, and I thanked God for the fact that she was still there. And man, John 10:10 says, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. I've come that you may have life and life more abundantly. Suicide, depression, I'm not good enough, I'm this, I'm that. That is not from God. That is Satan. And Satan did not win that night, and that was so powerful to me. Plus, I went to bed at 4 a.m. and I woke up the next day and felt awesome, had PT, and then I just got even more sleep the next night. So,
you know, that's amazing, Austin. I mean, we, you know, with the movement and all of us, as we reach out to the community and students and just our friends, our tribe, our people that listen to the music, the common thread with people of our friends is that there's the suicide rate, the depression, the anxiety. You know, people even having supernatural things happen in their room at night, you know, because they've opened themselves through the Ouija boards, through tarot cards, all these different doorways of stuff that happens. And it's all the enemy at the end of the day. The enemy, like you said, has come to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus says, I've come to give life abundantly. And it's not till you get to a place in your life where you go, man, I'm just tired of being tired, you know, and you surrender.
Tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah. When you get to that place, and maybe you're listening tonight and you're maybe in that place, what do you have to lose? Just all you have to do is call it to God and say, God, I'm just tired of just being tired of the things that are going on in my life. I don't want to be depressed anymore. I don't want to have anxiety. I don't want to deal with this stuff. I want to actually feel peace in my life. God will plant His Holy Spirit inside you, and you will literally have peace. You will have joy. You will know the reason why you were created, and He will talk to you as you talk back to Him. As you read the Word of God, He will lead and guide you. He'll show you what path to take. He'll open doors. You know, He'll open doors of jobs that you need to get, your school you need to go to, friends you need to hang out with.
That's exactly what happened that night.
He does this stuff. Yeah, go ahead. Talk.
Just me being in the Word that night led me to talk. You know, God works in such mysterious ways, man, and it just blows my mind every time something like that happens.
He works supernaturally in the natural realm. So all this supernatural stuff was happening that day. You were just in the natural realm. You're reading your Bible. You're about to go to bed. You're going about your business. But because you're in tune with Him, He starts working supernaturally. He wants to use you for the situation of this girl that's going on. And how would you even know to do that? You could say, oh, it's by coincidence. But the problem is when you're walking with God and all these things happen all the time, it's not coincidence.
No.
You know what? I was just thinking about this, man. Satan is such a deceiver. You know, one of the things that he likes to do in so many people's lives, this is common with young people, old people, it doesn't matter. He wants us to feel like we're all alone. Nobody gets it, you know, and so it kind of leads you to a place of isolation. You know, Satan wants to isolate a person, get them all by themselves, and depression, all this stuff of life just overwhelms them. You know, I believe it's in Proverbs 18 where it says, a man who isolates himself, he seeks his own desire. He rages against all wise judgment. And that's what happens sometimes. But the Lord, how He allows us to have relationships with people. I've been tripping out listening to you, Austin, and the people that have been calling in, because you hear this heartfelt connection of music and the communication, like you said, like through the lyrics, like you're pouring out your heart and connecting, because there's hurt that can be related to by many people, and they recognize that they're not alone. I think that's very important to realize and understand.
I wrote a song called You're Not Alone, and the biggest thing that has, you know, kept me going and why of Mice and Men was what of Mice and Men was because I've been there, you know. I've had divorce, attempted suicide, violence, drinking, drugs, grand theft auto, not being good enough, grades, you know, whatever it may be, all of these situations, losing parents, losing loved ones, moving. I've lived in 9 states. Like, I was from school to school and moving around. I've been through this stuff. And then I wrote music about it. I let it out. I needed a way to get it from in here and sitting and stewing and to get it out. And over the years that turned into, I need to share this because all of these people are going through the same thing. And whether they even know who a Mice and Men or I am or not, everyone in the entire world is going through something.
Mm-hmm.
Physical, spiritual, mental. And that's the one thing, man, like, I don't care. I'll just say it. Republicans, Democrats, black, white, Muslim, Christian, stop. Like, we are human beings, all of us. And even if you're a spiritualist and an atheist, you don't believe in anything, you can understand that one thing. And that's so important because we all deal with the same issues, whether you're a 40-something-year-old screamer of a multi-platinum nu metal rock band that's inspired millions of people, or the girl I talked to on the phone the other night. They deal with these same exact things, and that just goes to show that Satan's clever. He's not that clever. He's putting people through the same stuff, man.
Here's a fun question. You know, we got a little bit of time left, so.
This has flown by.
Yeah, I know. Austin, he says, let's see. Grace says, what happens when you get writer's block? How do you get rid of it? From Wisconsin. Don't get chipped while you're out there.
Yeah, right? What happens when you get writer's block? You know what? It depends. You know, some back in the day, I used to maybe have a drink, or I'd go out, or I would just write something and not have my heart in it. And a big thing that happened while we were recording our last record was a big thing that I felt God really kind of wanting to do more with me, is because I was sitting here trying to write lyrics that were just along the line enough to be acceptable enough for a secular band and not have anyone say whatever, this and this. And I had writer's block because I couldn't write what was really in my heart. And what was in my heart was, I just looked at it when I went to storage the other day. I have the journal from the stuff I was writing, and I was calling out to God, man. I was writing some crazy deep stuff. And you know, I have writer's block when my heart's not in it. And I realized that, you know, to have my heart in it, I got to be there, and I got to be with the music. And you know, I mean, I guess that's it's hard. It's weird. I feel like, where do I look and who am I talking to? This time's flown by, man. I just want to say thanks for having me too.
Okay, here's another one. Cynthia from Atlanta. No, there's so many questions.
I know, there's so many questions.
I want to get all these questions if possible.
Yeah, let's cut number 3. We don't need to talk about
Yeah, we're going to go through those. Okay, here we go. We're not going to go through that. No. Austin, question. How does Austin feel about receiving the Heart of Matter Award? That's from Cynthia in Atlanta.
The Heart of the Matter Award. Yeah. Well, okay, I guess I can talk about it. I received it's called the Heart of the Matter Award. It's a medical award in the medical industry. I don't know the description. Pioneers that lead the way for what they're dealing with. Basically just me sharing my story of my medical journey with the people that are dealing it, my brothers and sisters that have, you know, from Marfan syndrome to MS to so many different genetic orders. You know, it's something that has ailed me my entire life. I didn't even know what it was until I was 17, then had a DNA test, you know, and I'm sitting here side by side now with people that are going through the same things. And next week, the reason that I have to leave is I'm going to Atlanta. The Marfan's family conference is there. They did a giant walk. We raised over $500,000 for research for Marfan syndrome. You know, my mother passed away because she was taken to a hospital where they didn't know what Marfan syndrome was. And it was so it's just, if that doesn't inspire me to have a purpose to raise awareness, then I don't know what will.
Yeah.
And that's my purpose. You know, I don't want anyone that I care about, anyone that has listened to the band, anyone that I've come in contact with, anyone that I love, or just anyone to lose a loved one or a child or a son or daughter or mom or dad, just because a hospital doesn't even know what is wrong with them. And, you know, the Marfan's Foundation, please, you know, look it up. I think it's marfansfoundation.org. And they're such a great group of people. You know, I'm going down, my cardiologists, my Marfan specialists, my team from Stanford, they're going to be in Atlanta. There's 550 families from all over the world that are meeting in Atlanta because someone in their family has Marfan syndrome. And they come to learn, and there's clinics and there's tests. I'm getting an ear test done because I'm deaf in my left ear. And they come to have that community, to be with people that are going through not just the same things, but they have the exact mutant gene. And being an X-Men fan, I love meeting fellow mutants. It's like, let's go. Magneto's not going to win. I'm with Charles Xavier. Even though Magneto in white is super sick.
All right, so check this out. We got a couple of minutes left. We couldn't get to all these calls, obviously, but, you know, we tried our best. I'm going to end it with this. This is Jess from Florida. And the question is, how does it feel knowing that you've saved so many people's lives? How does it feel that God's used you to...
I was just going to say, I have not saved a single life. Maybe besides the family that got swept away in a flash flood in Costa Rica. They swam out of their Jeep and I gave them a ride home. That might have been the only time I saved someone's life. Mm-hmm. People have to understand that the music inspired them, motivated them, pushed them to save their own lives, to reach out to whatever it may be, to take their mind off of a situation, to not stay there, you know, and that's what my whole point of Mice and Men was. That's why it was so real, and I keep talking about that because I knew that there are so many people dealing with the same things, and just to know that you don't have to go through them alone. And then me applying that to my relationship with Christ, to know that from today, for all of eternity, I don't have to go through anything alone anymore because of that relationship, and that there's nothing greater for me than that, and there's nothing greater for me than to be able to express that and to be able to share that with people. It's like when you have the best news on earth, or you know the winning lottery number, you know, I don't know, you have the best news, you want to stand on top of a roof and you want to shout it, you want to say, hey, look what I found, look at this, look at what I just did, look at what I'm safe, I'm saved, I'm free from this, I'm free from my chains, I'm all of these things. It's good news. You want to share it. And man, I'm speechless. I'm sorry. Music is powerful, but God's even more powerful. Where do you think music came from?
Well said.
Yep.
Well said. And we're about to end in a second, but when's that new band start that you're starting? We'll end there.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
This has been The Ryan Ries Show. To connect and find out more about Ryan, click on ryan-reese.com. Check us out next Saturday for The Ryan Ries Show.